Hare Krishna, Namaste, hi everyone. Today I'm going to address the topic of transgender versus transgressionist. So, I think this is very important that we talk about because everybody keeps talking about trans. That is the superficial layer of what's going on here. This isn't a trans problem. This isn't a gender problem. This is a spiritual contrarian problem. So, let me define what I mean by transgender and transsexual. Most of my followers, most of you already know this. I'm your OG transsexual. I'm old school. A transgender or transsexual person, according to like 15, 20 years ago, was a very, very small minority of people that had a severe and persistent overbearing sense of gender dysphoria, sex dysphoria. They've gone through the safekeeping and the gatekeeping, which was years of seeing doctors and therapists. And back then, it was legit. Today, all of that is done away with, and there's no more rules, no regulations, no legitimacy, no nothing. It is nonsense. It's crazy today. But back then, there was a legitimate, safe, and good process many of us went through. Myself, Buck Angel, people like Blair White, until fairly recently, this whole issue of transsexualism, transgenderism wasn't a huge issue. And then, once transsexual people went through that system, for 1, 2, 3 years, however many years, and they explored all of the very different options that they had available to them to relieve the dysphoria. If still the gender and sex dysphoria is so overwhelming that you can't just live your own life and function every day, then it was suggested that now you can transition, do hormone surgery, all of that, after you've tried everything else. So once the trans person did that, once you transition, once you socially transition and medically and all of this, lo and behold, so much of the dysphoria is alleviated and goes away. It actually works. But that's only, again, for a very, very small amount of people, an extremely small minority of people that have been vetted through a legitimate, strict system with many professionals. Those professionals, even if they exist today, they are not allowed to practice good medicine. They have to practice ideology today. They're not allowed to practice medicine. They're not allowed to practice science. Okay? Now, again, to be transgender, transsexual back in the day was a very specific thing. It had its definition and you had to go through a very specific process. Now, it is a social identity that anyone can join at any time for any reason. Literally any reason. I have heard people that say, oh, I'm a woman and I don't like wearing makeup, therefore I am trans. I'm a man and I don't like sports, therefore I am trans. I had one of my therapists was telling me about a family that she had that the girl was fine. She was just a tomboy that liked soccer. But both of her parents, who were extremely they were from a different country and very, very strict in gender roles. So for a girl to show interest in soccer, they were convinced that their 8-year-old daughter must be a transgender boy because she likes soccer. It's like the things that people think up anymore. It is absolutely ridiculous, absolutely insane. But it used to be the therapists and the doctors could put people in line and say, no, you're not trans. No, you're just mentally unstable. No, you're just schizophrenic. No, you just have bipolar. No, you have a personality disorder. Now, any and all manner of mentally ill people, or otherwise anybody, can identify into this transgender umbrella. Remember again when I said the trans was a very specific thing, one thing, it meant one specific thing. Now it's an umbrella term for non-binary, trans femme, gender neutral. There are so many of all of these different gender identities out there, and that is not the same as the OG transsexualism. That is not the same as your OG transgenderism, okay? At the root of this new trans everything, they have used, this is a spiritually pernicious illness that is spreading. It's the spiritual contrarianism. And the best way that I can describe it is similar to like Christianity and Satanism. Satanists and Luciferians, I won't say all of them, but most of them spiritually are the equivalent of like angsty, angry teenagers with bad attitudes that are rebellious and contrarian only for the reason of being rebellious and contrarian. They don't need a good reason. They don't need it to make sense. They're just in that rebellious teenage angsty stage where whatever the authorities say, whatever the preacher says, whatever the church says, whatever the politicians, whatever the mainstream says, ooh, I'm going to be transgressive. I'm going to be contrarian. I'm going to do the opposite. That is what is going on today. And it is spreading under this camouflage and the umbrella and the protection of the trans label. All right. Do you understand this? Is it making sense? I need you to understand that even if we banned transgenderism, even if we banned transgender people from public life, like Mr. Michael Knowles says, I don't even know if I disagree with him, to be honest at this point. But you can ban transgenderism and trans people, but it's not getting to the spiritual, essential root of the problem, which is this spiritual totalitarian contrarianism, totalitarian transgressivism. Because if you look at these crazy trans people, the craziest of these trans people, most of them say that you don't even need gender or sex dysphoria to be trans. And if you look at them and how they live their life, it is not only in the realm of gender and sex that they are transgressive or contrarian. In a holistic level, in every area and dimension of their life, they are contrarian, they are opposite, they transgress. Isn't it so? Look at them. From their hair, from their facial piercings, from their tattoos, from their ugly fashion and aesthetic in clothes, from just the haggard and ugly manner that they carry themselves, dirty, stinky, uneducated, taking pride in their filth and sin and debauchery. This is a spiritual, demonic sickness. This is Satanism. What does the Satanist do? Satanists, they can't come up with anything original of their own. The Satanists and the Luciferians, again, they're like those angry, angsty teenagers. When they do their rituals and they do their black masses, all they do is they're just turning Christianity upside down. When you do a black mass, you're just doing the mass backwards. When you look at all of these leftists today, when you look at all of these woke people today, they can't create anything original. All they can do is pervert and turn things upside down. All they can do is the opposite. They cannot create something good of their own. So, where am I going with this? So again, transgender isn't really the problem here. It is one sign and one simple manifestation, but most of these crazy trans people, again, a lot of them don't even have gender dysphoria. Most of them don't even transition. They don't want to transition. It is a ideological and spiritual form of ritualized form of their contrarian worship. Do you understand that? I've literally had people tell me that identify as trans, that they don't have any dysphoria, but that their transition is a form of going against the mainstream. Basically like, what do I want to say? Like, it's an attack to the patriarchy. It's an attack to the mainstream. And it's like, You're just destroying your body and being miserable for no reason. You are accomplishing nothing. So, where do I go with this? What do I want you to get from this? Whether it is transgender, whether it is politics or religion, whatever, it's a messy world, and people need to get spiritually grounded, and you need to know yourself, know thyself, and know your God. And yeah, know yourself and know your God. And get good with God, because times are crazy in this form of totalitarian transgressivism, and it's spreading everywhere, and it is dangerous, it is evil. And although it spreads, it hides under this banner of trans, again, I want you to start looking at these people that they are transgressive in every way that they can be transgressive. This isn't about transgenderism, this isn't about transsexuality. This is about evil. This is about evil spreading, and about evil people that are spreading violence, mutilation, death, suffering, pain. What good has come from anything from their side? What beauty, what auspiciousness, what goodness, what loveliness, what peace, what stability? It's all fuckery, demonry. And I rebuke it. I reject it. And you should too. I think I'm going to leave it there. And again, I hope that you are in a space now, especially, it's a dangerous world. It is time. It should have been yesterday. But you need to be in a space where you know yourself, you know your God, and you get good with God, because we are in the midst of spiritual warfare right now, the likes of which I don't think any of us living have ever seen before. So buckle up, bucko. It's gonna be a rough spiritual ride. But let me finish with this. There's a verse in Bhagavatam where, I can't remember who's saying it, but basically, if Krishna wants to protect someone, if God wants to protect someone and have them alive, then there is no force in this cosmic manifestation that could lay a finger on that person. And if Krishna or if God wants to be done with someone, then there is no amount of protection and defense in the whole cosmos that could stop him. So get good with the will of God. Please be dharmic, protect yourself, say your prayers. Before you go out, say your kavachams and put on the full armor of God. Take care and be well, people. All right? Hare Krishna.